Okay, we'll get started. We'll just start with some stretches lying on our backs, please. So we won't keep it too long, but it's a good place to start. Lying all the way down. Take a moment to get comfortable. Keep your knees bent up, feet back to the floor. And just take a moment to really drop in here. Feel yourself relaxing into the ground. Feeling completely supported by the floor beneath you. Let your head completely relax, resting heavily so that your neck muscles can relax. Dropping into your upper back, the shoulders broaden and relax down. Dropping into the back of the hips. So you can relax any tension, tightness that you're holding around the hip area. Also letting the belly soften, make space to breathe into. Moves with ease. If you find that you're gripping your inner thighs or groin area just to hold the knees up, then you can bring your feet a bit wider apart so the knees can tend together. So whatever you need to do, just a little wriggle or anything you like to get comfortable. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths. We'll take a moment to really arrive in this space. So connecting in with your breath. Be the observer. Notice the way your breath moves in your body. Might start to lengthen, to deepen, and to move all the way down into your torso, right down into the belly, right down into the lower back. Big, easy, full breaths. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, let it relax. Even bring attention to your hands, if there's any sort of stiffness in the fingers. Give them a little wriggle to relax again. So everything is softening down. Okay, now bring hands to thighs and slide up to your knees. Gently draw your knees in towards you, so you've got one hand on each knee. And give your toes a wriggle. Start to move your feet. So mobilizing your ankles, maybe circle or pedal up and down. Don't worry if you are a bit quickie. And just starting to move the knees. So starting to kind of bend and straighten. Okay, and then start to mobilize around the hips. So here you might like to circle your knees above your hips. Maybe you're kind of pedaling again. If you're circling, then take it to the other direction as well. Or maybe you're just rocking from side to side. All right, and then bring your big toes together, open your knees wide and reach up to your shins or slide on up to your ankles, whatever you can reach comfortably. And let your shoulders fall back towards the ground again, so think about broadening across your collarbones so that we're not hunching the shoulders up and letting the knees come wide. Try to also keep the back of your hips connected to the ground so that we're not curling the hips off. And we'll just take a few breaths here. It's a nice way to open through hips, through inner thighs, maybe the groin if that's where you're tight. So focus attention on your breath again. Allow it to move all the way down to your lower belly, to your lower back. Big full breaths. So if you notice any tightness in your lower back area or in your abdominals, just take note. Try to bring a little softness into those areas for now as we focus on the breath. So it's really about noticing any resistance in the body. Stay just as you are for a couple more breaths. Okay, and then we'll keep holding onto the left leg or foot. Release your right hand and grab hold behind your thigh. And just let that leg start to extend. It might not extend all the way, so depending on how tight you are, you can keep a bend in the knee, or you might start to lengthen it a bit more. So support the leg with your hand, however you need to. You might be carrying the weight of your leg in your hand. So do try to keep your pelvis level so that we're not rolling off it. Just a couple more breaths here, breathing nice and easy, full and deep. And then we'll return so the big toes come together, grab hold of the right shin or ankle, and extend your left leg out long. So that one might seem a whole lot tighter in comparison, just when you first move into this pose. So holding wherever you need to, you might want to carry the weight of the leg or just gently draw it open. It can be bent if you need, and just settling in again. Let shoulders broaden, pelvis as level as you can be, and we'll just let gravity take over. Just about 2 more breaths here. And then gathering in again, bring one hand to each knee, hug them in towards you. And then come and roll on up into a seated position, please. So cross legs is quite a stiff position for a lot of people. And hopefully those stretches we just did will help to ease the pose. Bring hands to your knees just lightly or in your lap or cupping your knees, and close your eyes down or just soften your eye gaze. Let's take a moment to arrange our pose. So think about sitting evenly on both sitting bones. Lengthening up to the crown of the head, so lengthening all the way up through the spine, broadening across your collarbones. Let them gently fall away from ears without pulling them down hard. And notice where your breath moves to. So is it in the lower belly, and the lower back? Can you feel it broadening out to the side ribs? If it feels like it's all up in your chest, that might be quite normal for you. So just see whether you can start to draw your breath deeper, right down into the lower torso area. So that might be your practice for today. Think about lengthening and deepening the breath. All right, interlacing your fingers, bring your hands behind your head. Okay, and then bring your elbows out wide and push the back of your head into your hands. So bring elbows out wide, take a breath in here, and then with your out breath, close in your elbows and just curl on down. You might start quite small. Take a breath in as you lift your chest and bring the elbows out wide. And then curling in small again. So try not to pull on your head here. Let your head have control by pressing into your hands. Opening out wide, so we'll keep on going. You can take it really slow if you want to just kind of play with the movement. Take it as far as it feels good to you. And then maybe you can start to synchronize one breath per movement. But each time you lift, think about pressing the back of your head into your hands. Just see how far your elbows can go back. And just do 3 or 4 more. You might want to keep your eyes closed so you can keep your focus internal. And wherever you're at, let's make this one our last one. And then just let the arms release. Wriggle your fingers, just shake out the wrists or circle, whatever you like. If you want to just get the arms and shake out. Okay, and then bring hands to your knees. Float one hand behind and gently turn in that direction. Keep lengthening up to the crown of the head and gently spiral around. Bring to face the front, one hand to each knee and float around to the other side. We'll do it one more time on each side. Notice if you're gripping a lot through the groin, through the area, just let that relax. Noticing any resistance that creeps into the body. Coming through center again and over to the other side. Right, coming back through center. I like to switch the legs over. We've just got a couple more stretches to do. So it's quite good practice to change up the legs so that you don't always have one hip that's higher than the other. So it might feel a little bit strange if this is not your dominant there. All right, so we're going to walk hands forward and then come over towards one thigh. Now the hand that's closest to the front, sweep that one up and over. That's it, turning your shoulders. Yep, that's it. And then float back down, walk hands around to the other thigh, or leaning in towards your thigh. The hand closest to the front sweeps up and over. And come down. We'll do it a couple more times on each side. Sweep around to the first side. Let's smooth it out now. Revolving your ribcage. Let you look up. Coming down. Sweep around. And rise. Let's go one more on each side. Nice and smooth now. And release. Let's give the legs a wee shake out now. So send them out long. Check out. And come over to hands and knees. All right. Plant your hands to the floor. So spread your fingers open wide. And bring your knees just a little bit wider than the hips. It's a little bit wider than we would normally go. And keep your shins parallel, so we don't have big toes together. We've got them just straight behind the knees. And then shift your body weight forward, so you're coming right out over your wrists. And then slide your hips back. Just keep shifting, doesn't have to be all the way down. Just ease back. You're going to keep coming forward and back. So, floating forward. Weight comes into the hands. And shift back. So send your tailbone back and try to keep your torso long. It's not like our cat-cow that we would normally do. What you'd actually focus on keeping the length in your torso. So creating one long line from the tailbone out to the crown of the head and trying to maintain that position as we come forward and back. So just do a couple more. Make sure you're not dropping through the belly. And as you come back, make sure you're not arching. And one more time, going forward. And then easing back. All right, this time bring your big toes together and sit back towards heels And just relieve your hands, so circle wrists or wherever you need to. So whenever you feel any discomfort in the wrists, then you can always just take a little break, and wriggling fingers quite often helps to relieve. Okay, let's reset. So plant the hands, spread fingers. This time, tuck your toes under, so we're coming up into a high plank position, shoulders over wrists. And then bend your knees deeply as we sit hips back, all the way back into a crouch. Coming forward. So if you needed to, you can always drop your knees down again, or stay on toes with me, and shift your hips back. So think about pointing your tailbone away from your hands, coming forward, and back. And one more time, lengthening forward, and pull back. All right, drop knees to the floor, just come to normal hands and knees. Okay, roll wrists, whatever you need, just give them a little bit of a release. All right, spreading fingers. Send your right leg out long behind you. And then leg comes in towards your body. Now lift your thigh right up close towards your body. Send the leg out long. And bring it in. Lift again, touch down, and send the other leg out long. So without twisting your hips, keep your hip points facing down. Coming in, thigh comes up towards your chest. And again, send the leg out long. Coming under, little lift, and touch down. Right, give the wrists a quick little release. Okay, bringing your, let's all go left hand, so we're all doing the same side. Bring your left hand to the back of your head, and then bring your elbow out wide, just like we did when we were seated. Make sure nothing is collapsing, so we're not dropping through the belly, we're not arching. Stay nice and strong. And we're just going to turn open to the side, lifting your elbow up. That's it. And lower down, point the elbow down. So you're turning to face the other way. Now rise again, elbow lifts. And come on down. Keep spreading your fingers, press down into your fingers. Let's rise again. And come down. So think about the rotation happening at the ribs, not just at your head. Okay, one more time, rotating open. And this time bring your hand down. Let's go straight into the other side. So right hand comes to the back of your head. Rotate open, drive down to that bottom hand, think about lifting and rotating up. And then point your elbow down, turning to face the other way. Yep, you got it. So keep that bottom shoulder stable. Turning open and come down. Do it 3 more times. Coming up. And down, so rotating at the ribs. One more time. Got it. And place the hand down. So reset. All right, let's go right leg. We're going to step the right foot through into a lunge. So bring it far enough forward that we can be heavy in the heel. So if you're not back here, that can put quite a lot of pressure on the knee. So bring it all the way forward. Keep your left hand on the floor and your right hand onto your thigh. That's it. Just take them over here. And then sit your hips back. So just keep the knee bend as much as you need to in that front leg. So you might be feeling a strong stretch up through the back of the leg. Try to keep your torso nice and long so that we're not arching through the back. And then sink into your lunge again. Think about lengthening up to the crown of the head. Pull back. Your hamstring stretch. And come forward. We'll do this one more time. So pulling back. And come forward. This time hold your low lunge position. Bring your hand to the back of the head, so it's your right hand. Turn your body open, stay at the top. Keep your elbow exactly where it is, then extend your arm high. Hand to the back of the head, rotate down, and come back onto your hands and knees. Let's do the other side. So left foot through, all the way up into your low lunge position. Hand to thigh, and plant that right hand, but try not to collapse into that bottom shoulder. So think about lifting and lengthening up to the crown of the head. Right, slightly ease back. Just feel into it first, see how far you can come. Maybe take it a bit further. So big stretch up through the back of the leg. And come forward to your lunge. Easing back. You might be able to come a little bit further this time. Try to keep your torso as straight as you can so there's no pressure moving into the lower back. Coming forward. As you come forward, think about lengthening up through the front line of the body. Up to the crown of the head. Nice. One more time. Pulling back. And coming forward. Okay, we'll hold this position this time. Left hand comes to the back of the head. Turn your body open. Try not to collapse into that bottom shoulder. And then keep your elbow exactly where it is as you extend. Just a nice line across the front of the shoulders. And to the back of the head. Come down and back onto your hands and knees. Let's take a little breather here. So knees a bit wider, big toes together. And you can ease back, or you can just sit up and grip your fingers, release wrists, whatever you need. All right, planting your hands again. And spread your fingers, push down into the base of your fingers, press into the mounds of your thumbs. Coming up, so lift your hips. And this time, tuck your toes under and send your hips up high. Coming into our downward facing dog. Our focus here, just like all of the poses, is to keep that nice arrangement through the torso. So there's a long line, the tailbone to the front of the head, so we're not dropping the head, we're not arching the back, we're not dropping through. Just think about that beautiful long line. Knees can be as edge as they need to be, depending on how tight your calves and hamstrings are today. And we're floating forward into a high plank position. You can drop knees if you need to, or stay on toes with me. Then pull back. Coming forward. And back. And we're just going to do one more. So easing the way forward. A lot of weight in the hands. And pull back. Okay, hold this position. Your right hand comes to the opposite lower leg. So right hand comes to your lower left leg. If that feels impossible, then just leave the arm out of it and keep both hands on the ground. Now gently twist through, so you're looking towards the left side. That's it. Yeah, you got it. Okay, now bring your right foot through into a lunge, so you can use your hand if you need to. So right foot comes through and bring your hand to your thigh. Nice. Keep that back leg really strong. Now ease your hips back just to where you can, depending on how tight you feel through the back of the leg, and also making sure that we're not compensating by compressing the lower back. In the front knee, so it's that same little sequence we did before. Pull back and ease forward. One more time, coming back and forward into your lunge. Hand to the back of the head. Let's turn open. So find that rotation first. Try not to collapse into the bottom shoulder. We're lifting, spiraling up, and then keeping your elbow where it is. Just reach your arm high. Hand to the back of the head. Lower and replace your foot with your hand as you come back. Good. Okay. So resetting in our downward facing dog. Just take a moment to feel your posture again. Now, if you can lift off the left hand, bring it to the opposite lower leg. Try to keep your hips level. Keep driving down into the right hand. Rotate open. So looking through under your arm. Now the left foot comes through, so you can place your head down if you need more support. Left foot comes through, hand to your thigh. Take a moment to position yourself here, so we want to be nice and heavy in the heel. Dropping on in. That's it, and ease back. So just where you can. Coming into lunge. And pull back. So you can keep as much of a knee bend as you need to, so you're not arching to the back. Coming forward. And back. And one more time, coming through to your lunge. Always lose count around one end. Okay, so hold your lunge. Left hand to the back of the head. Rotate your body open. Good. Keep the elbow where it is and extend. That's how we get that really nice line across the shoulders. Hand to the back of the head. Lower, replace foot with your hand. Come back. So you can either hold your down dog a little longer, or you can drop the knees down and come off the wrists for a bit. Just for a few more breaths here. Okay, and then walking your feet up to your hands. Come into a forward fold, so soften your knees and drape your body down. Let your head hang. Maybe hold on to your elbows if you like. You can either hold still or you could sway side to side. So bring a bit of movement if it feels good. Okay, release arms and roll all the way up to standing. Just let shoulders all the way from ears. Close your eyes if you want to, just take a moment to readjust to be upright. Feel the way your body is arranged. So you've got that same long line through the torso. We're not arching and dropping back. We're not hunching. Broad across the shoulders, lifting through the crown of the head. Just take a breath. Sweep arms wide and high. Hands come together and lower to your center. Just to focus here. Okay, drop arms down at your sides and lift your right leg. Okay, send the leg back into a lunge and sweep your arms up. Okay, we're going to reverse it. So the arms drop down and the knee comes up. And step down. Seems simple. Simple isn't always easy though. Keeping your arms down, just bring your left leg up. Try to keep your hips level so that we're not kind of flipping them over to one side. Stepping back into your lunge. So bend the front knee as much as you need to. Sweep your arms up. And reverse it. So arms down, knee comes up. And step down. All right, let's smooth it out. So right knee up, step back, arms sweep up. So think about drawing in through the belly, point the tailbone down. To lengthen, you might even float your eye gaze up if you want to. Reverse it, knee up, and step down to the other side. So left knee, come back, sweeping up. Knee comes up. We're going to do it one more time on each side. So, right knee. Come back. Oops. Yeah. Step down and switch nice and smooth. Step. It gets easier when you really focus your attention. Knee up. And step down. All right, a little different this time. We're just going to add on. So, right knee up. This way actually. Right knee up. Step back. Now drop the back knee to the ground and sweep your arms up. Pay attention to your posture. So we want to drape in through the belly. Tailbone lengthens down. Maybe stretch a little bit higher if you can. And then shift your weight, lifting the back knee off, knee comes up and down. Now if it's too hard on that back knee, then just do it the same way that we did before. Left knee, step back, drop the back knee down with control. So think about tilting the pelvis, tail down, belly in and up, and reverse. So pushing into that front heel, knee lifts and step down. We're going to do it 2 more times on each side. So right knee, come back, lower down with control. Maybe take it a little further back if it feels good. Smooth now, take off. Yeah, good. And step down, left knee, and back. Touch down, sweeping up. Reverse out of it. And touch down. Okay, one more time. So this time as we come out of it, can we really drive our way up? Come up really quickly and down, good. Definitely. Come back. Touch down. Right, let's see how quickly we can rise straight up. Yeah, good. And step down. All right, step and shake it off. Where did the time go? Good for me. Okay, take a breath in and rise. And dive back down to your forward fold. Send your hips high, drop the crown of your head, maybe hold onto elbows and sway from side to side. You might feel good to stretch in one leg more than the other. And the other side. Okay, and then scoot one leg under. Come and take a seat. Just coming into cross legs again. So you might be in cross legs, or you could bring the foot up a little bit higher if you want to come over. So whatever option works for you, but if you feel like your knees are crowding your ears, then take the cross leg option. So sitting up tall again, bring one hand to each knee and float one, we can do both sides, on the each side, float one hand behind and gently rotate open. Think about spiraling the ribs around, turning your head, easy breaths, upward spiral. And then switching over to the other side, so both hand to knee, gently rotate. Coming to face the front, bring your hands to the floor in front of you, come over to one thigh, and let's rotate open. And come around to the other side, and rotate open. Releasing out and switch sides, so coming into cross legs again on the other side, or foot comes up to your calf, or even over if you want to make it a bit more challenging. So make sure you're sitting evenly on both sides, hands to knees, one hand behind, and gently rotate. So make sure you're not collapsing the front of the body. You want to be gently drawing in and up through the belly, breathing into the lower back area, and around to the other side. Taking it further around with each out breath. And facing in front, hands in front of you, and come on over to one side, and sweep the front arm over, and around to the other side. Okay, and release. Unhook the top leg. Send it out to the diagonal and tuck the other foot in to your calf, to your thigh. And now leaning in towards your long leg. If you want to take it further, you might even pass your hand to the outside of your leg, holding onto the outside of your calf or to the floor. You know, keeping your legs where they are, just bring your hand behind your hip and lift your hips off the ground. Might feel good to sweep the other arm open. That's it. Pushing your hips high, keep the long leg straight and strong. Drive the ground away from you to get even more lift. And take your time lowering back down. So there's no hurry, ease your way back down to the ground. And switch the legs over. So the other one out to the vagal. Foot comes into your thigh, leaning out over the long leg. And if you want to, you can take it further by bringing your hand to the outside or to the floor. Just breathing easy. And then coming up again, anchor your hand behind your hip, then push off. So keep rolling your ribcage open. Wait for you to be able to look up towards the ceiling. Driving down to the ground, get even more lift, strengthening the strong. Hold and breathe. And take your time lowering all the way down. Nice. Come and lie down onto the ground. Bring your knees up towards you. One hand onto each knee. Just take a moment to kind of readjust. Let your head relax down, back of the shoulders, the upper back of the hips. And then bring big toes together, knees out wide, just like we did at the start. Hands to shins or to your ankles, wherever you can reach comfortably. Notice if it feels any different compared to the first time you did it. And you can stay in this position, or you could grab hold of the insteps of your feet and lift heels above knees, keeping your knees wide. Or you can also do that by holding your shins. So let's try to press the back of the hips into the ground. Keep your shoulders broad. Notice where the breath goes to now. And we invite the breath right down into the lower belly, into the lower back area. Big, full, deep breaths. And then send your legs out wide. You could bring your hands to your inner thighs. Your knees could be bent depending on how tight you feel, or maybe you want to try to straighten them out. Or you might even want to hold from underneath, wherever feels best. Maybe you're reaching up to your big toes if you can get that far. Keep the back of the hips connected to the ground as much as you can. Just another breath here. And come out really slowly, bringing the legs together. And let's finish the way that we started. So feet flat to the floor. You can either have your knees pointing straight up, or you could rest them together. It's whatever feels best to you. Arms relaxed in a position where your shoulders can be broad. Let your head feel heavy, relaxing your neck muscles. Let your hands relax, even if it means wriggling your fingers, just let them soften down. Begin to observe your breath again. Feel the way it moves into your body. Feel how far down your torso your breath is moving. Notice if you keep defaulting to breathing high into your chest. And can you practice drawing your breath right down into the lower belly, into the lower back, out to the side ribs. Stay just as we are for a couple more minutes. So we're not here for too long. But do notice if your attention starts to stray, if you find yourself thinking about something else. Your practice is to keep returning to what's here. Usually the easiest way is by observing your breath. Maybe there's something else you notice about the way your body is lying on the ground, how it feels to be on the ground. Noticing sounds in the distance without pushing anything away, we're taking it all in. Be the observer. Notice what you feel against your skin. Textures, firmness, weight, temperature. Just a few more breaths before we move again. And eventually, when you're ready to find your movement, take it slow, keep it small to start. Just your hands, your feet, your toes, and head from side to side. You want to take a full body stretch, legs out long, arms overhead. And then gathering knees to your chest. Rock from side to side a couple of times before finally coming back up to a seated position. Hands to knees or in your lap. About lengthening up to the crown of the head, but also slightly softening back. So it's a little effort as you need. We'll take one more breath together, both arms out wide and stretch up high. Connect at the top and come down the center, thumbs to your heart space. Thank you so much for having me today.